It was raining hard the night it happened, Friday, October 13th. I remember because I had just gotten off a long shift at the cafe, and the storm had already knocked out half the streetlights on my walk home. My apartment is on the second floor of a duplex, tucked behind a row of pines. Pretty isolated, but I liked it that way. Quiet. I got in around 10:48 p.m. Wet shoes off, hoodie hung up, kettle on. Everything was normal until I noticed the faint smell of cigarette smoke in the hallway. I don't smoke. No one in the building does. I figured it blew in through the cracked bathroom window and moved on. I made some tea, threw on dry clothes, and sat on the couch. Rain tapped against the glass like fingers. Constant. Uneven. But not unnatural. At 11:16 p.m., I heard a soft thump in the back room. Like something fell. I paused the TV. Nothing. Just the rain. At 11:22 p.m., another sound. Closer. This time, a soft drag, like someone brushing a coat across the wall. My heart started racing, but I tried to stay calm. Probably just the wind. Or pipes. Then I saw it, faint, but unmistakable, muddy footprints. Not mine. Leading from the kitchen toward the hall. My phone was charging in the bedroom. I crept toward it, trying not to make a sound. The floorboards betrayed me with a loud creak. Everything went still. I grabbed the phone. No signal. Typical during storms, but terrifying in the moment. I locked the bedroom door and slid the dresser in front of it. Sat on the floor, shaking, listening. At 12:07 a.m., I heard breathing, right outside the door. Slow, wet, like whoever it was had been out in the rain a long time. I didn't sleep. I just waited. By morning, the smell was gone. The footprints faded. Nothing was stolen. Nothing broken. But the back door was still locked from the inside. I never figured out how he got in. This happened 2 years ago, on a rainy Thursday night, October 28, 2021. I was working late at the grocery store and missed my usual bus. The last one wasn't coming until 11:40 p.m. The stop was on a quiet stretch of road, right by an old brick church with overgrown hedges and a broken streetlight. It was raining that kind of cold, steady drizzle that soaks through your jacket slowly. I had my hood up, earbuds in, listening to a podcast, trying to ignore how empty everything felt. But I noticed him anyway. A man was standing at the far end of the shelter. Not close enough to share space, just far enough to make his presence feel intentional. He wasn't dressed for the weather, no umbrella, just a white button-up, soaked through and clinging to him. His head was tilted slightly, like he was listening to something. I took an earbud out and said, "Hey, you okay?" He didn't answer. Just kept staring ahead at the church across the street. Not at me. Not at anything, really. Just through it. That's when I realized. His shirt looked stained. Rusty streaks along the chest. His hands were tucked behind his back. I checked my phone, 11:32 p.m. No signal, again. Rain always killed the reception here. I decided to stand outside the shelter, just in case. 11:41 p.m. No bus. The man hadn't moved. I started to walk. It was only a 20-minute walk home, and I didn't want to be near him anymore. But as I turned, he suddenly said, "It's not going to stop." His voice was quiet, hoarse. I stopped. "What?" He looked at me then, eyes wide, pale, and smiled like he'd just remembered something important. I didn't wait. I walked fast, almost running. When I got home, soaked and shaking, I called the transit line. The woman on the phone said the last bus had already come and gone. 11:35 p.m. Driver reported no one at the stop. I looked at my call log. I'd called them at 11:50. So, who was I standing next to for 20 minutes? This happened just last month, June 14th. I live alone in a small house in northern Oregon, the kind surrounded by woods and always damp. It had been raining off and on all week, but that night it came down hard. Around 10:30 p.m., I was curled up on the couch, half watching a documentary, half scrolling on my phone, when I noticed something strange. The sound of the rain changed. It got louder, but not from the roof or the windows. It was coming from below me. At first, I thought maybe the sump pump failed and water was pouring into the basement. That would have explained the rushing sound. So I grabbed a flashlight and headed for the basement door. The moment I opened it, I stopped. I swear, it sounded exactly like a thunderstorm was happening down there. Heavy rain, like sheets of it. But there was no thunder, just that awful, wet drumming. I crept down the stairs slowly, each one groaning under my weight. My flashlight flickered once, but stayed on. As I reached the bottom, the air felt humid, wet. The concrete floor looked slick. And standing in the far corner, facing the wall, was a man in a yellow raincoat. Just standing there, I froze. My brain couldn't even process it fast enough. The basement has no windows, no outside access. The door I came through was locked before I opened it. There's no way he got in. The sound of rain was deafening now, but nothing was visibly falling. The man didn't move. I whispered, "Hey." He didn't turn around. He just tilted his head slightly, like he was listening. I backed up the stairs slowly, not blinking, not breathing. When I reached the top, I slammed the door shut and locked it. I didn't sleep. I sat in the kitchen with a knife and waited for morning. When I finally got the courage to open the door again, the basement was dry. No puddles, no raincoat, just silence.